Hello, hello. It is time for another coffee break. Chris did the last one by himself, and I'm doing this one by myself. So that's what a partnership's all about, right? All right. So One Vision Retirement is our company. As you know, we do these little coffee breaks. And this month, we are focused on 5 things you should know about retiring early. What do you need to think about? What are some, must-dos or things to consider before you decide you want to retire early? Now, retire early a lot of times means retiring maybe at 55 or 60, probably before Social Security kicks in or before full retirement benefit kicks in. So it just these are just kind of things to kind of consider as you're thinking, maybe I retired 60 or maybe I retired 55 or even at 65. Probably more like 63 to 64 time period for some of these. All right. So as you know, but we go through every single time, this is a presentation we do monthly for 401k participants. So if you contribute to your 401k, this is for you. If you're thinking about contributing to your 401k, this is for you. If you have one available to you and you haven't looked at anything, we can help you with that. This is something that you can kind of use as well. This is a really quick peek at strategies to help address your financial future and get you more organized and just thinking about things. Short and sweet, 15 minutes max. We're usually way under that. But just want to keep it short and to the point. And then today we're going to just cover the highlights. So you're not going to get all of the information that you possibly need to decide if you want to retire early, but we always have a no obligation complimentary conversation to get into more detail and see how we can maybe help. And there will be a QR code at the end of this and our contact information, so you can reach out if you want to do that after this. All right. Oops. Mistake. Okay. So who are we? So my name's Lisa Sakai. I have 12 years of experience in the industry. I work a lot with female professionals and their families, helping them live a lifestyle they love now and how to maintain it in the future. I've also got a new niche I'm working on, working with the women without children, because I am a woman without children. So if that sounds like you and you have some planning concerns that maybe your current person isn't addressing because they're not aware of what that's like, let me know. I'm happy to help. And one kind of fun fact about me is I published a short story when I was in high school. If you look up my name, I think it pops up still as in USA Today about my grandma. Chris is my business partner. He is missing in action today, but he's here in spirit. He's got 22 years of experience. He works with the complete opposite of me. He works with employers and helps implement all of your wonderful retirement and benefits there and make sure that you're getting what you need so that you can be in a good position financially. And a kind of a fun fact about him is he has a Great Dane that is over 165 pounds. That is crazy. All right. So let's get into it. The first thing that you should consider is the 59.5 rule and taxes, right? So a lot of people kind of know what this rule is, but it's not a bad idea to review it again. So what that means is most pre-tax retirement plans, so like a traditional 401k or an IRA, and even a Roth, just as an FYI, have this 59.5 rule. And what that says is that you really aren't supposed to take out these funds before 59.5. And for the tax deferred accounts, they can implement an extra penalty on top of it to 10%, basically, is what the penalty is in 2023. That could change, but it hasn't changed for a long time. And so when you're considering that, you need to think about what are your income sources if you're retired before 59.5. How are you going to deal with this extra money that you've got to pay for taxes? Do you have other buckets that you could maybe take from the first couple of years till you get to 59.5, so you don't have to pay more in taxes than you want to, or really should have to? You also want to consider just taxes in general when it comes to pre-tax accounts, because you've gotten to defer the tax, and then when you take the money out, you're going to be paying the tax. So what does that look like? What do taxes kind of look like in retirement? It's really good to go through that when you're deciding if you want to retire early or just any kind of retirement conversation, just analysis, right? Number 2 is Social Security and early retirement. Now, a lot of people get kind of burnt out, especially in corporate, and they go, oh, 62, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I want Social Security. I'll take it 62, no problem. And a lot of times I say, are you going to completely retire? And they say, no, I want to consult or I want to do something like that. And what a lot of people don't realize is that if you retire early and take Social Security early, so most people are around that 67 mark, maybe 66 in 6 months or something like that. But let's just use 67 as the full retirement age for a lot of people nowadays. If you retire at 62, yes, most people know you get a smaller benefit. You pay a little bit of a penalty for taking it earlier. Most people don't care. They say that's fine. I want to make sure I get it, all of that stuff that kind of goes on. But one thing that people don't realize is that you have an income limit of how much you can make from the time of 62 to your full retirement age annually that can affect your benefit. So this year it's around 20,000. But what that it's 21,240 actually. So I actually have the number in my notes. So what that means is that from your benefit, on top of the reduction you've already taken by taking it before 67 or your full retirement age, you are going to have $1 deducted from your benefit payment for every $2 you earn over that 21,240 for 2023. And the number changes every single year. So if you're watching this in 2024, it's going to be a different number, possibly higher, most likely higher, I would say. But if you think you're going to do consulting or you're going to do anything that makes over 21,000, you might want to consider not taking this. And you want to think about other income sources that might be coming in, rental incomes. How does that affect it? All that stuff. It's a really good time to have that conversation with your tax person and your financial person, if you have one, to really have that discussion about it, because a lot of people don't think about that. They think I can, be a consultant and have one client and make, 60 grand and be fine. Is that worth your benefit getting deducted? And there is a note that Social Security says, well, we pay it back once, you get to full retirement age. I had a client that didn't happen for her. That could just be her situation, and maybe it's fine other places, but it's always good to know this stuff and be aware of what the pros and cons are and what could happen, right? I always say prepare for the worst and hopefully get the best, right? I always say the other saying is nobody has ever complained to me that they've had too much money in retirement. So we always want to over prepare in many respects. Okay. Number 3 is healthcare. This is something that people don't consider a lot. So there's 2 things that we want to go through on healthcare for you right now. One is that if you retire before the age of 65, healthcare can be very expensive not being in a group plan. I mean, it's already expensive enough in the group plan, and then it's going to be, 2-3 times more expensive maybe not being in the group plan. So you want to check out your COBRA options if you have COBRA at work, all those different things. And you also want to look at how much longer you're going to have to go without that. And spouses, is your spouse a lot younger than you are? How long will you be paying for them for healthcare? So that's something to consider if you are thinking about retiring early. The other thing to consider too is that a lot of people don't realize that there is, I wouldn't call it a limit, but after a certain amount of income that you take out of retirement accounts and rental income and other things like that happen after age 65, if you hit above a certain number, I don't have that number off the top of my head. I'm happy to get that for you if you have questions on this. There is an extra tax that can be actually added to your Medicare. It's Medicare tax essentially. So you want to do some research on that stuff so you're not getting hit with a whammy that you didn't know that was coming. So that's just something to consider just for general retirement planning, but I thought this would be a good place to bring that up as well. All right, number 4 is expenses. Now, none of us like to budget, me included. I don't want to budget either. Like, I don't want somebody telling me what to, including myself. I don't want myself telling me what I can spend my money on, right? But when we talk about healthcare, we talk about all these other expenses that could add up in retirement. It's really important to kind of know, not even kind of, to know what you're spending your money on. What is your average month look like? How much do you need? And what are those big outstanding expenses that come up every year, like auto insurance and home insurance and property tax and all that stuff? You need to equate those into your budget as well. Because if you don't know how much you need to live off of, it's really hard to do planning to figure out how much you need to take out of every different account and all that stuff. And especially when we retire early, let's say retirement is 30 years, okay? And everybody says, I don't want to live in retirement that long, but let's say you retire at 65 and you live to age 95, which is possible for if you're in a couple, if you're married or a spouse or partner or something, there is a chance that one of you could live to age 95. There's a very big chance actually that one of you could live to 95. So we do our planning to at least 95. And I get a lot of people going, no, that's not, I don't want to live that long. That's fine. But, if we're adding on 5 years or 10 years on top of that, then we need to have extra money to be able to access in extra different kinds of buckets to access. What's after tax, what's pre-tax, what's in a brokerage account that I'm paying capital gains on, what are we doing with our house? All that kind of stuff really adds into it because you are adding an extra 5-10 years, even 2 years to your plan. And so you've really got to consider that, because when we retire, we kind of go, woo, it's retirement. And every day is a Saturday. Well, Saturday is the most expensive day of the week. So we've got to keep that stuff in mind. And the last is to rerun your financial plan. People take a look at their financial plan and it's been run for age 67 or 65, and they go, I'll be good if I retire at 62. It's amazing how just that little tweak can make a huge difference on if you will run out of money in retirement, which is the biggest fear people have about retirement is being, 95 without any money. So you want to make sure that you stress test your financial plan with lots of different scenarios to be able to make sure that you'll get there. And, plans are flexible. So you run it one day and it might not be perfect. It's not exactly that's your plan and that's what's set. So it's a good rule of thumb to run your plans annually anyhow, because things change, interest rates change, taxes change, all that stuff changes, and it changes a lot in our software as well. So it's always good to rerun that stuff. And we're happy to run a plan for you and talk about doing financial planning with you if you haven't done an actual plan. And I would suggest, I know you have that little retirement planner in your 401k, and I think that's awesome. I would suggest before you make this leap to retire early to actually hire a financial planner to do a big plan so you're running different scenarios, because they're going to bring in some knowledge that you might not know. Plus, there's just going to be different levers that we can pull and see what effects they have that you can't do on those little slider retirement things that are in the 401ks. So with that, in conclusion, wanting to retire early is on a lot of people's minds now. There's a whole movement called the FIRE movement, which is Financial Independence Retire Early, which sounds amazing. I don't blame people for wanting to do that. But because there's this movement, it's being talked about a lot more. So it might be on your mind, right? And so you just want to make sure you go through your planning in a lot of detail, and we can help with that. So we have lots of other videos on the coffee break and other videos we make. So feel free to go to our YouTube to check out some other things that might help you with this decision. And like I said, you can schedule a call with us. So that is a QR code. You take your photo, open your camera and then hold it over there and it should pop up our Calendly for you to schedule a time. If that doesn't work, you can email us at that email address. You can go to our website. There's a link there to be able to sign up for a time. And if you just kind of want to get to know us, check us out, check out our website, check us out on social media. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. And hopefully we can provide some help on this or whatever other financial topics you have. So with that, that is July in the books. And we will be back in August to talk about another subject for you, for all you 401k participants.